Now, in case of the electric actuators, if you want the linear movement, there is something called as the linear motor. Linear motor is a simple electrical DC motor which is having infinite radius. So instead of having a rotary motion, it will be having a linear motion. Construction and operation is more difficult, and it is also more costlier. For small lengths, if you want to have a very strong movement or very fast movement, you can have something called as a solenoid. So linear actuator in the electric drives will be a solenoid. The main advantage is you can operate at very high speeds. The disadvantage is the amount of stroke or the amount of movement it can generate is very, very small. It is mainly used for controlling in the walls or maybe some levers. If you want to operate, you can use a solenoid and you can operate those elements. This is the circuit symbol. So here you are having a core and inside you are having the plunger. So whenever you are closing the switch, a magnetic field is created, the plunger is pulled, and you are going to have the movement. So you are having the coil and you are having the armature. So this is the cross-sectional figure over here. You are having the coil to which you are supplying the current. You are having the frame which will hold all the elements, and this is the plunger. Plunger is mounted on the spring. When you supply the power to the coil, what happens? It is magnetized. This is the core. This will be attracted downwards because more coil is present over here and less amount of coil is present on this side. So it will be pulled down and you are having the movement. Now, when you don't want the plunger to be down, you just have to switch off the power supply. Because of the spring over here, it will be lifted upwards and you are having the other position. So instead of a spring, you can have multiple coils, one coil on one side, second coil on the other side. Then you can have the continuous reciprocatory motion without using any spring. So those designs are also possible. So basically solenoid has got two elements. One is the coil, other one is the core. This is made up of a ferromagnetic material. Then the plunger, you can connect it to any external load. If you supply the power here, maybe AC, then this is magnetized and this is pulled down and you are having the movement. That is how the solenoid is going to operate. Then you are having the piezoelectric actuators. If you are applying the voltage to it, it is going to exchange in dimension. Now this feature, it can apply a lot of force. So you can use this particular force to operate very, very small devices. You can operate it to control the nozzles. You can to allow the flow of material flowing through it in 3D printers or maybe in inkjet printers. You can use this piezoelectric actuators. That is one of the applications. So single piezoelectric layer will not be having sufficient strength. So you are using several layers of piezoelectric material to create the piezoelectric actuator. A piezoelectric actuator, it is coming very rapid action is possible and the fatigue failure is also very, very less. But the force generated to the weight ratio is slightly on the higher side as compared to the shape memory alloys. So this piezoelectric actuator is used in the, if you are taking some laser scanning, we have studied that laser has to scan the surface. Then the position of the laser is controlled usually by using a piezoelectric actuator. So you are giving the energy, the crystal is going to deform and it is going to give the required kind of motion. The next one will be the shape memory alloy. Shape memory alloy is a special material wherein it can remember a particular shape. So initially you are giving the heat treatment or you are heating it up and you are giving it a particular shape. And when you are cooling it down, it will remember that particular shape. Now you are giving some kind of deformation to it. It will remain in the deformed position. But if you are giving it a small temperature, then it will take up its initial position. That is the basic principle of the shape memory alloy. Now what is the use of this one? So you can create any particular shape you want initially by heating it and you are giving some training. Then wherever you want, you can use it as an actuator by just simply heating it. So if you are heating it, it will take up some different position, and when it is cooled down, again it will take up to another position because of the applied load. So there are different configurations in which you can use a shape memory alloy. Usually it will be having a spring to apply force in one direction, and when you are applying the current, because of the heated thing, it will take up the original position. So between two positions, you can use a shape memory alloy. So you will have very, very small miniaturized actuators are possible by using the shape memory alloys. The main problem with them is the fatigue. So this continuous changing in shape will induce lot of fatigue and they can fail. That is one issue with the shape memory alloys. Otherwise, For a given weight of the actuator, these shape memory actuators can generate lot of force. So force to weight ratio is very, very high in case of the shape memory alloys. But the main issue with them is their fabrication, and also the issue with them is their fatigue effects. So here initially it will be having the martensite, which is a soft material. Then when you are heating it up, it becomes austenite, which is a very hard material. In the austenite phase, you can give it the any shape, and when it cools down, it will be having something called as a twinned martensite. That is called as a twinned martensite phase is there. So it will remember that particular shape. When you are giving it the deformed shape, when you are deforming that particular component, the microstructure will be changing. We will call it as the deformed martensite. When you are giving it a small temperature, you need not increase the heat to very high level. You are giving it a small activation energy or a very small temperature of the order of say 10 degrees. The microstructure is going to again change. Microstructure is again going to change to austenite, and it will remember its original shape. And when it cools down back, again you will be having the twinned martensite. Now, why this alloy is able to remember the shape? The main reason is because of the volume occupied by the microstructure phases. So austenite will occupy some phase. The twinned martensite, when the austenite is cooling, it will take up the twinned martensite phase. That will be also having the same volume. But whenever you are applying the force, its microstructure is going to change to something called as deformed microstructure. Its volume will be something different, and it will remain in that same deformed martensite phase. When you are again heating it up, again it is going back into austenite, so it remembers its original shape. The dimensions and other things are going to change. Its shape is going to change. So by applying a small force and applying a small heat, you are able to manage two different positions of the actuator, because it can take two different shapes. So because of this reason, it is possible to use a shape memory alloy as an actuator. The important thing is we have to have very good cooling of this particular actuator. Otherwise, it may not come back to its original shape very rapidly. It may take a lot of time. But the amount of force generated is very, very good. That is why it is finding impinged applications.